We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Mishti Khatri, hello. How are you?
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Let me ask you the most difficult question I think you've ever gotten. I heard a lot of your recording of podcasts that you've been on
Yeah.
before, and I've swifted through a lot of your stuff. I think the toughest question I can ask is, how have you been?
I think in seeing how 2020 has gone, I think touchwood, I am very good. I'm back home with family, and yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for this. I mean, obviously, there were things that I missed out on this year, but overall, I think I'm great.
But I think I'll tell you one of the reasons I think that's the case. So I thought about it, right? And I
Hmm.
realized a lot of people like there's really a lot of mental health issues going on, right? I think the people
Yeah.
who sailed through better were the people who were always like healthy and fit and exercising.
Hmm.
It's, I mean, for obvious reasons, the hormones released and dopamine and serotonin and all of that. And
Yeah.
I think everybody undervalued the importance of that earlier.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, especially when like lockdown kind of kicked in, I was so taken aback by like the whole fitness craze that also set in. So,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you've seen the memes where they're like, 2020 has been so long where I lost weight, then gained it back, and then lost again.
exactly,
Like that whole
exactly.
up and down cycle also that went on with it. But yeah, definitely. I think, the physical activity bit of it really helped people get do things at home,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
finally people were out of excuses when it came to, oh, I don't have time to work out. I mean, now you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
all the time in
I
the
think
world to do
so.
it.
I don't know, like, you're a nutritionist. I think you'll get what I'm saying. My body type is such that if I don't eat healthy food and I don't weight lift and all of that stuff, I start losing weight. So through lockdown,
Yeah,
I lost like 8 or 9 kilos.
yeah,
And people were like, oh, like, you're so lucky. And I was like, that's not how it works. Like, it's not
yeah.
good. Doesn't Just because I'm losing weight doesn't mean it's good for me.
It's
It's
always like the grass is green on the other side, right?
exactly,
Like,
exactly. And plus, see, like, I'm short. I'm 5'5", 5'6". So being scrawny is not. I mean, aesthetic wise, it's not the best scene to have.
yeah.
Then, if you become thinner,
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like you said, the minute you start working out, lifting weights, eating right, it'll all come back onto track
yeah, yeah, yeah.
again for you. So yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna.
know. I saw somebody's video on YouTube. I keep going through a lot of these dumb videos on YouTube, and one of them really hit home was the one where this guy was talking about the three most important things are your exercise, your sleep, and your diet, right?
Agree.
If those three things are checked well, then everything else falls into place psychologically. You start doing better stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I believe, like for the psychology of it, I can't comment on it because I'm not a professional. But from what I know so far, it's obviously your sleep, physical activity, and diet play a very important role. But I know, I mean, I've heard of a lot of cases where people are mentally so down that physically they can't get themselves to work
Yeah,
out either, and that's of course when you need the professional help,
yeah,
etc. So
absolutely,
it's not just,
absolutely.
even though you may be doing everything right on paper, you can still have
Yeah,
those
yeah, 100%,
mental health.
100%. But
Yeah,
you want to hear something funny?
yeah,
So I remember you from school. So I don't know if
yeah, yeah,
Riya must have told you, but I'm from Jamnaba as well.
yeah, yeah, of
Uh,
course.
so I remember you from school when I used to play. So when I used to play football, right, in school, and
Yeah,
I remember your dad, you, and Dia playing
yeah,
football, and I like used to all play, and that's where I
yeah.
remember you from. Like, and then I think 4 or 5 years went by, and then I saw that okay, you have started running, you started doing like other level
Yeah.
shit now, and that's great, man.
Yeah, but I think like that whole discipline of working out kind of even set in from school. Like we used to wake up at, I think, what, five
Five,
five
yeah,
thirty.
yeah,
You had to be on the beach by 5:30 or 6, and
yeah. Or Cyril
you
sir
had
used to
those
kick you
one
out
two
and
hours.
kick you back home.
Yeah, 1 2 hours of training that we had. I think that really instilled that
Yeah,
discipline which I was able to carry out then later in life too.
Yeah, and I think like the craziest thing is that till I'll tell you what, where I noticed a slack was when I like got into graduation, undergrad. That's when
Yeah,
football kind of stopped for a certain amount of time, and
yeah,
then I started realizing, okay, like this stuff's important. Like you,
yeah,
like
for
it's just a
sure.
part of your day so much that you play, go for turf and all every week, twice,
Yeah,
thrice, and you're running for a continuous hour. So you're fine, right? But then it
yeah.
starts to seep in that, okay, now you got to put in effort into like keeping yourself normal,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
think I think when you're in school, a lot of it comes as play, right? So it's not like, oh, I need to go work out.
yeah,
You're just
yeah,
playing with friends, etc. You automatically even find that time for it in your day. It's a social activity, right? Like you're
yeah,
chilling with your friends after school or before school. Um, and I think it's so important that like right now, I know I sound very old saying this, but with kids these days, it's like you come back home and I just see them all on their phones and this and that. There's
I know what you
hardly
mean.
any of that outdoor playtime happening,
Yeah, I'm restarting my graduation. So I'm 22, but
Yeah.
I'm in my second year again. So
Oh,
technically a 3 year this thing, and I noticed the difference in a 3 year age gap also, where like when I have conversations with them and I ask them like, so when you
yeah.
all were kids, like what, how much, the building friend thing and playing in the building and all of that's very low in a lot of these
Yeah.
people, and I don't know if that's just the circle I am in
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a thing. Like I'm not
Yeah,
sure, but
I don't know. I feel like I've seen it otherwise as well, So yeah, maybe it's more widespread
and
than
I
you
think
think,
they're more like in tune with pop culture as compared to a
for
lot of.
sure.
I don't want to
Yeah,
say
like
us because then it sounds like a oldie thing to say,
yeah,
and
like I
I'm
could never go
still.
to TikTok and all of that.
Oh, no chance, dude. There's no way. Like, have
Yeah,
you this is very funny. Have you heard of this? Have you checked out this Instagram page, TikTok cringe pop or
yeah.
something? It's the
Shocked at me.
best. It's the
It's the best day
best.
ever. It's
You
the
have no
best. For sure.
idea through lockdown how much I've loved that. Like
Yeah,
I think people have judged me more than ever. Like, are you
yeah,
okay? Like, Karan, is
yeah.
everything fine? Like I've gotten calls. Like, are you fine? What's up with that stuff? But see,
Okay,
that's
we all had coping mechanisms this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
No,
That was my coping mechanism.
yeah,
TikTok cringe pop was my coping mechanism.
yeah.
But anyway, on a little slightly serious note, why the need for a degree? Like I wanna understand a degree in nutrition.
Um, so I think honestly speaking, there's a lot of like online courses and all that you can do
Yeah,
and get certified in like a day or 2 days and all. But so I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but if it
Monday.
does, fingers crossed. Okay, fine, guys, please pray for me then. I'm applying for a PhD right now. So I mean, I've done my degree and I feel like I've just scratched the surface. That means I've done my MSc, which is a Master's in Science in Sport Nutrition. So, again, not just some general nutrition, very specific to sport nutrition. And I feel like I've barely touched the surface. So, I don't understand how a 1 day or a 2 day certification course gives you the right to start telling diabetics what to eat,
Oh
heart
yeah,
patients what to do. I mean, that's when it all starts getting quite tricky, when people start giving out vitamins and supplements, etc. Could You need to understand that that may have some interaction with, even forget a heart patient, forget a diabetic, even general population. You see these ready nutrition meal plans available online where they're giving you 1200 calories to eat in a day, some random diet where you're having only celery juice the whole day, then the next day only cabbage soup. You know what I mean? Like you've seen these.
yeah, yeah,
But the thing is, there's so much more to it that this is why you need a degree to understand basically how to cut through the clutter. Um, the like when you ask an intelligent person what do you know, they'll be like, I know nothing. When you ask an idiot, they'll be like, I know everything. This is exactly why you need to study more.
yeah,
And I'm a stickler for rules as well. In a way, I feel like when I'm dealing with someone, I think it should be like there should be a governing body for like personal trainers, nutritionists,
Absolutely.
dietitians, etc. Because someone is giving their life to us, in a way.
Yeah, yeah,
Today at the gym, I see like some trainers. So I'm also a personal trainer where I did
yeah,
my certification and additional certifications for like 3+ years, and I worked for a personal trainer before going to do my masters. And again, like then also when I had clients coming to me asking me for nutritional advice, I was like, here, talk to this certified or qualified nutritionist
yeah,
who's studied, gone through it, rather than doing it myself. Because yeah, I did touch upon it in my personal training course, but I'm in no way and in no way have the qualifications to sit and guide someone. Now that I've finished my degree is when I'm helping people. So I think those morals and ethics kind of
yeah,
need to be
yeah, yeah.
place as well.
But do
Because otherwise
you,
it could
yeah,
go
do
wrong.
you have to study, like, do you have a science background?
Yeah, so I mean I did science till the 12th grade.
Okay.
I did my ISC science, and then after
ISC
that I
science you did?
yeah, so it was so
Bro,
intense,
that's
right?
wild.
Yeah, that was like that actually, in a way, even though it was a really good course, it was very high level. So
Yeah.
that kind of killed my interest in the subject because it made me feel like I'm dumb and I can't cope up with it. When in reality, like I did really well at bio and chem and all, but physics I just couldn't cope with. It
Yeah.
was just another league only. So I was like, okay, maybe I can't do it. So I
Hmm.
kind of got scared and backed out. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, fine. I was very certain I wanted to do something with sports and a
Yeah.
paramedical line, like physiotherapy, nutrition, something on those lines for sure. And so I was like, okay, fine. If I can't work in a sport related field, I'll do sports management.
Hmm.
So that's why I went and I did BMS. And then after BMS, I kind of, decided that I want to still work with athletes and all. And that's why I did my personal training certification. That's why it took me 3 years to even get to do my master's, is because I was working, building up my resume, getting on my degree, like, additional certifications in place so that I could apply for my master's
Yeah.
then.
No, I know what you mean. Like I completely understand. Like it's you rather do stuff later on with 100% certainty than do it just
Yeah.
haywire for fuck's sake, like just getting it done.
Yeah.
It's kind of pointless. I kind of get where you're coming from, and I think like I think you know what I think is the best part. I think you've understood that, like the way you're saying it. I get that you get it, and it makes like a lot of sense. And the way you're saying it makes a lot of sense to me also. Like
Yeah.
I that's nice. And I think like especially when it comes to sports and all of that, imagine if you're working at a very high level,
Yeah.
if you're the head of some team or something, and then nutrition and all it, every ounce of calorie, every calorie they put in their body, every training exercise they do makes a hell lot of difference in a ripple effect, right?
Sure. I mean, that's what defines some of the best teams in the world from the not
Exactly.
so, right? It's the small things that you do well,
Yeah, yeah.
rather than you constantly focusing on the bigger picture as
And
well.
they know their sport. I don't think many of them know, like a sports person knows their sport and they know what to do for their sport. But
Yeah, I mean, today, working with an athlete is like probably the toughest thing to do than than a general client, because the athlete, honestly, most athletes that you see, the top level ones, they're already doing everything so
yeah,
well. So how am I coming in to help? Then it's the
yeah,
small changes that we make, few dietary tweaks, training tweaks. Like when they're already doing everything right, what more can you add to it?
yeah, yeah. But would you so in a on a more let's say on a higher scale of so you would do something like physiotherapy, nutrition, personal training, all of that stuff combined, right?
No, I mean, I honestly uh, I want my specialization to be in nutrition. I
Hmm.
enjoyed personal training, and I kind of, even when I was personal training, I was doing it with young athletes.
Yeah.
So kind of within teenagers in school, swimmers, tennis players,
Hmm.
mainly
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
them. So I know my focus wants to be working with athletes, but now I'm veering more towards like the nutrition bit of it. Um, and like physiotherapy is a whole nother ball game, like that's
Yeah.
another 5, 6 years of additional studying. And I think, it's like that jack of all trades, master of none doesn't help you at all.
Yeah,
You need
yeah,
to, at some point in life, you need to start like zeroing down.
yeah, yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I'm kind of getting there now. And
Hmm.
yeah, working towards that.
I wanted to ask you a
Yeah.
tricky question. So
Yeah.
when you consider, let's say, like the nutrition of an athlete, right? Do
Yeah.
you see like have you okay, so when you're doing your masters, I saw one of your stories long back. I think you were running and they had that shit attached to you and they were measuring stuff. You
Mhm.
must be doing that with like athletes a lot, right? In your
Mm,
masters at least.
no, so I mean, in our masters, so actually because of COVID, we
Hmm.
were going to do a research project, but because of COVID, we couldn't. So
Hmm.
I wasn't able to do that. But yeah, amongst ourselves, we were 5 people in my batch. So amongst ourselves, we kind of tested it on each other.
Yeah.
But say when it comes to athletes and bringing in others, there's a whole ethical
Hmm.
guideline, research proposal, etc. There's a lot of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
administrative work that needs to be done. So it's not like anyone coming in and out, you can just try on them.
So my question was
Done it on
actually,
yeah. Hmm.
were you asking me something?
Done it on my own batchmates, but not on any athletes or
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, yeah.
I was working at the Reliance Foundation Hospital, which
Huh.
is on Chandigarh Road. I was interning there for like 3, 4 months a few years ago. And over there, I did get to like see them working with athletes because then the athletes kind of pay in to come get their testing and all done. So
Yeah.
that and I saw all of that, but I mean that was like a while ago, so I was in no way equipped to actually conduct those by myself. I was just assisting on those.
That's interesting. Yeah. Sorry, my
Yeah.
question. Yeah. Do you notice a difference? Like, see, you're going towards nutrition, right? So Indian athletes, the nutrition that we have in and
Hmm.
the diet that Indians follow of, I mean, obviously a lot of us are 60, 65. I don't know how many percent of us are vegetarian. I don't want to say a
Okay.
bullshit number. I don't know, but a large number of us are vegetarians. How
Hmm.
much of a difference does that make, like, according to you?
I mean, I honestly can't comment on any Indian athlete right now because I think it's all very varied and depends
Yeah.
on their. But I think, like, honestly, even when we do like studies and all, we don't really compare athletes with the general population because, like I said, because they have a high skeletal mass, they're already doing really well. They have a high VO2 max, which is
Hmm.
like kind of a measure for your, endurance in a way and performance. So that is all already very high. So often we see that they don't get any benefits from, additional aids, etc. So we don't, I basically mean, I don't want to compare an athlete to a general population person. But I'd say like as a vegetarian, are we getting enough protein? Is that what you were trying to ask me?
Yeah, not that only. I was not comparing an athlete to a regular person. I'm saying like any individual who, let's say, is doing sports.
Hmm.
If you notice now, I don't know if there's a stereotype or I don't know if there's a very like I'm just being very narrowing it down too easily. But all the Catholic schools that we used to play against,
Hmm.
comparing the size, the physique, the all their I think the nutrition level that they had because of a highly non-vegetarian diet makes
Yeah.
them a lot stronger as compared.
No, I don't know if that's a fair comparison to make or like, because I mean, we don't know that for certain, right? I don't know what they were eating, so I
Yeah,
can't comment on that. But yes, in general, consuming animal-based protein. I'm not talking about any schools or I don't know what anyone's
no,
diet is. Yeah, very generally speaking, animal-based protein is definitely more
yeah,
superior than protein because plant-based protein isn't complete in its essential acids, etc.,
hmm,
amino acids. But what happens is that when you mix different sources of plant protein, so example, if you take our dal chawal, so dal is deficient in one amino acid, rice is deficient in the other. But when you have them together, they make a complete source of protein. So the absorbability isn't as good
hmm.
as say chicken, but it does work. Yeah.
Okay, so if you say that, let's compare a carnivore diet, suppose, right, to a
Omnivore.
like
carnivore,
No,
like,
no,
I
like
mean,
people who just eat, like there's a thing, like I don't know if you've heard of it. People are going for some carnivore diet.
okay, no, I wouldn't recommend a carnivore diet where you're not
No?
eating any. No, because you're not
Hmm.
getting any vitamins or minerals
Yeah.
that you'd get from fruits and vegetables. And
Hmm.
I mean, ideally, you want to look at a balanced diet where you're having lean meat, vegetables, fruit, um, grains, protein, all of that, like a whole mix of it all, rather than, kind of looking only at an either or kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah. So let's take a diet which is very high in animal protein
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
compared to an average vegetarian diet. I eat roti, sabzi, dal, chawal every day, and
Mhm.
lunch and dinner. And I eat eggs, but let's say suppose somebody who's pure vegetarian doesn't eat eggs, right?
Yeah.
You're saying a wholesome animal based diet mixed with
Yeah.
vegetables, all of that, and
Yeah.
compared to a wholesome vegetarian diet will have minimal difference in like nutrition.
In a way, very simply, I mean, no, this is a very black and white question. It's not like that. It
Hmm.
again depends on what. So now, if you tell me a vegetarian who's only eating like a high, so if you compare it on a macro level, then yes, I can make
Hmm.
these. Like he is getting 50 grams of, I'm just giving very vague examples, 50
Huh.
grams of protein, 50 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat, 10 grams of fat, 30 grams of carb, 30 grams of carb, then yes, it's balanced.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But have you conducted any study or read anything about difference in diets and across countries and across like different races
Yeah,
of
so I
people?
often like the Western diet, which is like
Yeah.
American diet, the portion sizes are very large, extremely processed food, constantly eating like takeout, etc., versus like the Mediterranean diet. So, right, a lot of like your heart associations, etc., they'll promote a Mediterranean diet, which has like fish, lean protein. By lean protein, I mean like chicken breast, eggs, some amount of healthy fat. So, like from olive oil, olives, seeds, nuts. Then they eat a lot of grains and vegetables. So, a Mediterranean diet then would be superior over a typical Western diet where they
Yeah.
consume a lot of processed sugar and processed fat
Hmm.
as well.
But uh have you like so at this so I'm in liberal arts, okay, and I've had this history course where we studied a lot about the transformation of humans from a
Hmm.
primate society to now an evolved society. And
Yeah.
like one of the most important things that like was transition was the concept of agriculture, right? Moving to a plant-based concept from just
Hmm.
meat and nuts and like finding your walnuts and fruits and all of that.
Yeah.
But like there must be most definitely a difference in terrain as well, right? Let's take the in India, the we had agriculture pretty soon, so we had a lot of agriculture based like wheat, potato, barley, all of that was way sooner. So
Hmm.
like difference in let's say genetic height, body mass, like skeletal shape and all, does is that different? Do you think that must be different because of diet genetically?
I honestly can't comment on that because I think diets have also evolved a lot over the years, right? Like as Indians, what we ate, like what our grandparents say used to eat versus what we eat now
Yeah.
is so different. I honestly can't comment on like
Hmm.
the whole genetic aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
in a way where you look at different races, so like Indians or East Asians, not counting like Chinese, Japanese, etc. So
Yeah.
mainly Pakistanis, Indians, etc. We have a higher tendency for heart problems, etc. Diabetes or hypertension is just a one reason could partly be due to genetics. So that's
That's
been found
nice.
in certain studies amongst like say a Scandinavian population, for example.
Can you tell
So
me one
that
of the most sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, what was your question?
Like tell me some interesting studies that you might have like seen through or something in nutrition that is not really like people don't
I
really
mean,
know about, like myths or some stuff like that.
sorry.
A myth or something like that in the nutrition aspect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are a couple of them, but like at the top of my head, like you see a lot of people who like drastically go down and cut their calories and not realizing that long-term calorie restriction can impair your bone health. So typically, when we're growing up, our bone is in a constant flux. Like your bone is getting formed as well as reabsorbed. So your typical bone mineral density kind of peaks between the age of 20 to 30, and that's almost all that you have left with, and then it starts to decline. But within these growing years, if you don't you don't reach that peak that you can tend to get like osteoporosis, osteopenia, get fractures, stress fractures more easily as you tend to age. So like extreme calorie restriction, especially in a younger age, like in our 20s and 30s, can be risky and have long-term implications as well. So this whole fad of like cutting calories to a drastic level,
Yeah,
only 1,000 calories or etc., can have long-term implications on your bone and health in general as well.
that's crazy. So you're saying like if somebody who let's say in their 20s is and see the most working out years are 20 to 30 only anyway, right? Where you actively want to work out.
No, I don't think so.
No, where you actively like decide to make a change to your physique, I think is the highest like between these age groups, between like
I, I don't
17
believe.
onwards. No, that's not true.
No, I mean that's where you're getting those facts from.
No, no, I'm just making a stupid observation. Like I'm not saying that's
I mean,
factually correct.
in their late 30s and 40s also going for these transformations and staying pretty fit and active. So I don't,
But
yeah.
the average gym going population or the average population that must be uh, going towards a workout or active daily exercise is, I mean, must be peaking in that
20-year-olds who are half as active as a 30, 40-year-old. So
maybe,
I
yeah,
don't believe
maybe my
observation in that.
observation. That's true. That could be true. Fair enough. So, where I was getting at was considering that we were all inclined to, reduce calories and reduce your weight and all of that stuff. So, if you push yourself to do that in these 20 to 30 age group, it's rather bad for you than good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad for you as long as you're doing it sensibly. The extreme calorie restriction is like, I mean, much lower than what you typically be like I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's not like your average weight loss. It's when you're exercising like crazy and your calorie intake is very low, like about 15 calories per kg of lean body mass per day. That's the standard that we've kind
Yeah,
of set. Right? Someone has 10 kgs of lean body mass. By lean body mass, I mean like 10 kgs of muscle mass on them,
yeah,
and eating only 15 calories per day of that. So that's 15 into 10, 150 calories per day. That's extremely low. You know what I mean? Like 150 calories is not even like it's a snack basically.
yeah.
So that's what I basically mean.
Fair enough.
So at a very low. So don't misquote me. Exercise and a slight calorie restriction is fine, but not extremely. And I wouldn't recommend going below 1,200 calories for anyone.
But there must be a difference between good calorie and bad calorie, right? Obviously.
No, your body, in a way, to put it very simply, your body looks at a calorie as a calorie in some way or the other. So, 1 calorie of chocolate versus 1 calorie of lettuce is not going to really be very different in terms of, the response your body has to it. But yes, that 1 calorie of chocolate will have a lot more sugar as compared to like lettuce. So, your
Yeah,
body response to it is different. But say you ate 1,500 calories of pizza, I ate 1,500 calories of, again, let's just take lettuce for example.
yeah.
Like
1500 calories of lettuce is a lot.
you know what I mean? But 1500 calories of a pizza would be like one big size pizza, right? So the nutrients we would be getting would be very different.
Yeah,
All of that is then what matters. So I think there's no good and bad diet per se. It can be a balanced diet where rather than you having 1500 calories of pizza and me having 1500 calories of lettuce, we split it, right? I have 750 calories of pizza and 750 calories of lettuce, giving me a lot more nutrients, a lot more macros. Say it was a chicken pizza, so I'm getting my protein
yeah,
in, cheese, so getting fat, carbs from the bread, as well as then additional nutrients. Like the lettuce, for example. Again, this is very black and white. I don't want you to eat only two things in the day. Ideally, it would be like, say for breakfast you eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, typical home food. But then for dinner, if you had like pizza and a dessert, that's fine then, Yeah. So
fair
there's
enough.
no difference between good and a bad diet as such. It's just that you'd be getting lesser nutrients and lesser benefits from it then.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. But I had one odd question to ask you.
Hmm.
So I think like one of the things I personally face in my life as an issue is a routine. Like having a very, structured routine to, I don't know if it's the case, but you seem like you're very set in terms of you have most definitely you work out once a day, or you most definitely do what you have planned, like at least as far as from what I've seen. So how do you structure your routine? Like, do you put active effort into thinking about it? How do you go about it?
So I think, like I said, a lot of it does come with a discipline. I'm not like motivated to work out every day. And to be honest, like 2020 has been such a weird year. There have been days where I've just not wanted to get out of bed, like
Hmm.
I've been as lazy and chucked my routine completely as well. So I think what helps me stay like in a routine is discipline. And I actually enjoy routine. Like I like to have things noted in my calendar where I know I'm doing what, when, and that helps me kind of like plan my day in advance so I can. And I, again, like I said, I enjoy working out. So some days if I don't feel like going for a run, I rather do yoga. So I try to stay flexible with it as well so that I don't start like hating on
Yeah.
anything.
That's something cool. I saw you do martial arts as well, right?
But that's completely stopped this year.
What?
I mean, I was a little bit in the UK, but just because I stay at home, so I can't go to the center to train right now. So I literally just have weights at home and I work out at home. And then the max I go is like go for tennis like twice a week.
So you
So that's
run, you play tennis, you do weights, you have done
it.
martial arts. That's crazy, man. No, I think it's important because you keep having fun then.
Yeah, exactly. Like I used to play tennis. In fact, I just started tennis again in 2020. I hadn't played tennis for the last, I think, 4, 5 years almost now. So it's good. Like I'm excited about the sport again and, like kind of getting back to it, getting better at it. So I honestly think that we aren't like limited in any way. So try out as many things as possible. Like when I was in uni, I started bouldering over there. So it's like rock climbing, but not really. It's like more without the harness and everything. It's lower walls and stuff as well. So yeah, I started bouldering in uni. So I just like trying out different
Yeah.
things.
I had one friend say something to me which really stuck with me. There was a crazy line that he told me. Randomly, we were talking, and he's now really good at CrossFit. He's like next level and all of that. And
Yeah.
I asked him like, how'd you get into it, man? So he's like, I just started saying yes to everything productive, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuck with me. Like he never he's tried the dumbest of shit. Like he's like, I've gone cycling to ceiling, all of that also. Like that's not dumb, but for somebody who
Yeah.
is in a weightlifting sport, that's pretty random.
Yeah.
So he's like, I just started saying yes to everything I found productive, and it just got me
Yeah.
here. I was like,
And I think like what I like to do is, like other than like, only meeting friends for like breakfast, like, I mean, for like food or drinks, I like doing like activities as well. So that also like in uni, I mean, because we were living in the Peak District, which is like basically like a beautiful, like a park in a way, but like a nature reserve, so it's huge. And so we go for like hikes and all, which isn't very strenuous. Like we pack a picnic and go and,
Yeah.
but it was something different and something new to see. And I think I enjoy finding new activities to do as well rather than just, yeah, the regular.
That's nice, man. That's interesting. That like with running as well, that's been your standard. Like, has it been something you do standardly? Is that
I
a
mean,
word? Is standardly a word?
I don't think so,
I don't think so.
but
No.
it's
Okay,
not
go
a
ahead.
word. But as a standard, yes, I do,
Yeah.
and I do like regularly run. But I think the last few months running has reduced. I'm trying to get back into it again. So in uni, I was running a lot on the treadmill, like for the experiments and
Yeah.
stuff. That did kind of take a toll on my running gait on the road, and it was very hilly over there as well. So I got like a few knee and ankle issues. So I'm just trying to get out of all of that again.
But you, so when I was, so I used to run a lot, like let's say by the end of last year, 2019, November, December, and Jan, these 3 months, I
Hmm.
used to run every day. And
Hmm.
I think like by Jan-ish, I wanted to join some running club. And
Mhm.
then I started looking up, about Nike Running Club and all of that,
Yeah.
and it was pretty interesting, man. Like I think so. I saw one thing where like y'all meet up on what Marine Drive or something like that, and
That's paused right now because of COVID,
yeah,
obviously, but it
obviously,
was great initiative. Like it was superb for Nike to actually bring that over here as well. So it is still present globally in a lot of countries, and it makes you feel united, with like a lot of people around the world because we have like our own Nike Run Club community. And it was great over here, especially because it was like basically to promote running within the younger community, and yeah, it was what actually made me start running, like going there, meeting like-minded people. That was, yeah, it
yeah. Like
was a great.
I had one issue was that I used to run alone. I don't like really doing activities with other people because I find myself spending more time in something which is kind of like, even with a gym buddy, I could not have a gym buddy. Like
Yeah,
I get into pointless conversations that like are really not necessary, and that's up to me. But I started running, and one of the things, like I think what got monotonous for me was that it's very stupid, but I ran out of music to run to after a point, you
yeah,
know and that just then it became like a chore instead of an
yeah.
exciting thing. Like I wasn't thrilled for it, and I think like if I would have joined a couple of other people who are running and who are in the same area.
Check out the Nike Run Club app. There are a lot of audio guided runs on it, which actually like you can hear and it guides you through the run. And all runs have their own playlist, etc. So it's quite fun to actually do.
I do that,
You can
yeah.
it's a great, like, you'll hear some of the world class athletes like talking. Like basically it's a podcast while running, but
Yeah.
it's specific to the run that you're doing. So it's really nice. I highly recommend that.
Do you listen to music while you run
Yeah,
or
yeah,
work
I
out? What do you listen to usually?
I have a Spanish playlist, so it's mainly like Spanish.
Reggaeton?
No, it's Pure Fuego on
I don't know about
Apple.
that.
Yeah,
Oh
so
wait,
that and
is it
music.
all J Balvin and all of that stuff?
Yeah, 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 all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's more party music for me. But rock, like I had a rock running playlist, like all your ACDC, Guns N' Roses, all of that stuff. Or do
So
that?
that's a very diverse running playlist. I run to sad Hindi. I don't care. I love like, I love listening to podcasts while running.
Yeah,
Anything. My run depends on my mood. Yeah, no particular.
I know what you mean. Like I sometimes like there's the whole Linkin Park phase that I was in and got back to
Yeah,
the. It's crazy, man. Like I think that's one good thing that actually running got me to do is I kept on listening to new types of music, and I
yeah,
kept on like pushing myself to find new stuff, and that's actually fun. I discovered this TED podcast, which is like a, so I used to run for only 15-20 minutes, just a quick run, and
huh,
yeah, so I used to run for like 15-20 minutes only, and I think the best part of it was there's a TED podcast. I think you should check it out. It's 15 minutes, and it's like they'll talk about Neanderthals in the first 10 minutes, and then the next 10 minutes is something economy and all that. So it's really interesting. So in case if you have a short workout, check it out. Like,
I
I'll
will.
send it to you. It's on Spotify. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it's I think you gotta go. And then I gotta go. So thank you so much, Mystery. I really appreciate it. I
Thank you,
think
Carl.
I think I asked you a lot of stupid questions, but
It was
that
fine. It was great.
it was.
Huh?